Welcome to the section where we're going to be discussing the general duties of employees at work. So what are the employees' responsibilities in terms of health and safety? So this is covered in section 14 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act, and it starts off with every employee shall at work take reasonable care for the health and safety of himself and of other persons who may be affected by his acts or omissions. So in other words, you're responsible for your own health and safety while at work. However, you are also responsible for the health and safety of those that are around you that might be affected by anything that you do. The next stipulation is that every employee shall at work, as regards any duty or requirement imposed on his employer or any other persons by this Act, cooperate with such employer or person to enable that duty or requirement to be performed or complied with. Basically what it's saying is you need to make sure that you comply with the rules and regulations that your employer has set out in order to adhere to the Health and Safety Act. The next section, which is section C, carries on about following orders and making sure things that are done correctly. Now, one of the big things here is you'll see it says carry out any lawful order given to him and obey the health and safety rules and procedures laid down by his employer or by anyone authorized thereto by his employer in the interests of health and safety. This is quite an important one because often employees are asked to do things that are not legal or do not comply to the health and safety regulations. And at the end of the day, the employee can be held liable if anything goes wrong. So it makes sure that it stipulates any lawful order. The employee is quite within their rights not to follow instructions if they are not lawful. So let's move on to section D. And it says every employee shall at work, if any situation which is unsafe or unhealthy comes to his attention, as soon as practicable, report such a situation to his employer or to the health and safety representative for his workplace or section thereof, as the case may be, who shall therefore then in turn report it to the employer. It's very important that this actually happens in a company, that the workers report unsafe conditions. Often safety representatives, managers, supervisors are completely unaware of the dangers that are faced daily by the workers on the ground. Section E covers what employees need to do if they are injured or hurt at work. So it says if he is involved in any incident which may affect his health or which has caused injury to himself, report such incident to his employer or to anyone authorized by the employer or to his health and safety representative as soon as practicable, but not later than the end of the particular shift during which the incident occurred, unless circumstances were such that the reporting of the incident was not possible, in which case he shall report the incident as soon as practicable thereafter. Now, there's a misconception within workplaces that if a worker gets hurt, they don't want to let people know about it in case they get into trouble. Now, this reporting is not to get people into trouble. It's so that you can look at your health and safety plan and institute precautionary measures so that it doesn't happen again. So it's vitally important that workers report anything that happens or any injuries that they're involved in, and they need to do it as soon as possible. That brings us to the end of the employee's obligations in terms of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So it's a lot more simple than the obligations faced by employers. So let's just summarize what an employee's responsibilities are under the law. So the first is they need to be responsible for their and others' safety. They need to obey lawful instructions that promote safety, report any unsafe working conditions, and report any incidents that happen where they get injured as soon as possible.